a young man, while squatting, discovered something terrifying. 10 years after the apocalypse, humans appeared. He knew if they found him, they'd eat him alive. So, he rushed home without wiping, camouflaged the house with branches, and peeked outside. Cannibals were approaching. Luckily, his wise father stayed calm, gathered medicine and food, and escaped with his son and daughter-in-law through the back door. The daughter-in-law was injured and couldn't move easily. If they confronted the cannibals, they'd all perish. So, the father opened the outhouse for them to hide. While he faced the threat, he quickly took down 3 of them, but just when they thought he could turn the tide, he was unexpectedly stabbed. Segment 2. The couple watched helplessly as their father died. The cannibals ransacked the house and took the father's body. The leader, bearded man, sensed something amiss in the outhouse where the couple hid. As he tried to open it, the young man held it shut with all his might. Unable to open it, bearded man peered through a hole, was hit by a foul smell, and left. Once safe, the young man returned to the ransacked cabin. Not only was their father gone, but his girlfriend's injury worsened, and the medicine was stolen. He knew she wouldn't survive a week without it. As the family's only hope, he had to retrieve the medicine quickly. Segment 3. He repaired the house, took his father's photo, settled his girlfriend, and followed the cannibals' trail. After crossing many mountains, he was cold, hungry, and fainted. Upon waking, he saw a wandering boy and followed him to a house. Driven by survival instincts, he kicked the door open, took an old man's coat, and left, feeling guilty but determined to retrieve the medicine. He followed the trail to a smoking fire pit, saw his father's remains, and vomited. After a moment, he buried his father's bones. Segment 4. To better track the cannibals, he climbed a tree and spotted them. As he descended, he slipped and fell, attracting wild dogs. With their howls growing closer, he knew escape was impossible. He quickly reignited the fire, keeping the dogs at bay until dawn. After they left, he continued his journey and found a tent. He threw a stone to check for occupants. Hearing nothing, he entered and found the owner deceased. He searched for resources and found matches, a folding knife, and a whistle. Segment 5. Finally, he found a whistle. He continued his journey and passed a small stream. He found the stream had turned red. Quietly, he looked upstream and saw members of a cannibal tribe washing their knives. Xiao Shui was sure their home was nearby, so he stealthily followed them. As expected, not far away, a caravan was their lair. Xiao Shui observed and saw a woman cooking, with no other members in sight. Seizing the moment when the woman briefly left, he quickly searched her backpack for medicine. The noise alerted the woman, who swung a deadly axe at him, but Xiao Shui dodged. They began to fight, neither daring to relax, as it was a matter of life or death. Xiao Shui found an opportunity and used a stone to deal with the woman. He then hurriedly searched the caravan for medicine. Finding nothing, he looked out the window and saw a terrifying scene. Other tribe members returning from hunting. Outnumbered, he had to act fast. To avoid detection, he quickly wiped the bloodstains and dragged the body into a nearby pit. Xiao Shui noticed they had brought back a boy he knew, the child from the family whose coat he had taken. Xiao Shui knew the boy would soon be eaten. Continuing to observe, he saw a bearded man place medicine in a suitcase. Luckily, a teammate came out for a break and didn't notice Xiao Shui hiding nearby. However, upon returning, he found Xiao Shui's left-behind axe and reported back. The tribe immediately realized their teammate might be in trouble and spread out to search. To avoid being found, Xiao Shui quickly covered the woman's body with leaves and crawled forward on the ground. To avoid exposure, he leapt into a deep pit, finding it full of bones, the tribe's dumping ground. Despite the stench, he climbed up slowly. He observed that only an injured tribe member was in front of the caravan. The good news was the man turned and went inside to rest. Xiao Shui seized the chance to untie the boy. The boy, unsure if Xiao Shui was an ally, shouted loudly. Finally, Xiao Shui cut the ropes and freed the boy. The tribe member chased after the boy. Xiao Shui hurried to open the suitcase with the medicine, but it was locked. He kicked the lock hard but couldn't open it. Meanwhile, he noticed the tribe members returning. Unable to carry the suitcase, he hid under the caravan. The most dangerous place is indeed the most dangerous. When the tribe returned, they found not only the boy missing but also mud on the suitcase. If they looked down, they would see Xiao Shuai. His heart was pounding with tension. The tribe called the bearded man outside, having discovered the woman's body. That night, the cannibals held a ceremony for their fallen comrade and cremated her. Xiao Shuai noticed the suitcase key was around the bearded man's neck. The bearded man, seeing his comrade killed and the prey released, was furious. Xiao Shuai endured a difficult night under the caravan, knowing he was in a passive position. He took out matches and thought of a daring plan. Knowing the cannibals were resting inside, he had to get the suitcase key and the medicine, as time was running out for his girlfriend. Gathering his courage, he carefully opened the caravan door. Inside was pitch black. He lit a match and, by its faint light, found the bearded man's position. Xiao Shuai was so nervous he could hear his own breathing. Approaching the bearded man, he took out a small knife to carefully cut the key's string. Any noise could wake the bearded man, and Xiao Shuai would be in grave danger. In the end, Xiao Shuai got the key safely. He opened the suitcase and found the medicine for his girlfriend. To delay the cannibals, he locked the camper from outside and fled home. Nervous, he triggered the alarm, waking the bearded man, who kicked open the door. Xiao Shuai rushed home, with the bearded man furious and determined to catch him. The cannibals chased closely, and though Xiao Shuai had a head start, they were fast. They were just steps apart when Xiao Shuai slid into a ravine. Inside, Xiao Shuai briefly distanced himself from the cannibals and ran along the path. At the boy's home, he saw a horrific scene, remains left by wild dogs and the old man's body. Xiao Shuai felt guilty for breaking the door, indirectly causing the old man's death. Lost in self-blame, he didn't notice the cannibals and was captured. When he awoke, he was tied up, facing the same fate as his father. The cannibals sharpened their knives, and Xiao Shuai tried to save himself but was kicked aside by the bearded man, who wouldn't let him escape again. He then burned Xiao Shuai's father's photo in front of him. In despair, Xiao Shuai didn't give up. Seeing a whistle, he thought of a plan. He blew the whistle, and the sound echoed. The wild dogs charged, and the cannibals fled. Xiao Shuai had to escape before the dogs arrived. He cut the ropes and hid under a tree stump. The dogs didn't find him. Xiao Shuai checked his backpack and found the medicine. Meanwhile, the cannibals were chased by the dogs. The bearded man turned on his teammate, watching them get devoured. The group reunited and decided to split up, pursuing Xiao Shuai's trail. Exhausted and injured, Xiao Shuai couldn't compete physically. He needed a clever plan. Seeing the plum blossoms, an idea came to him. Soon, the group spotted Xiao Shuai. As one approached, Xiao Shuai sprang his trap, descending to fight. But the frail little handsome was no match and soon fell behind, then was directly locked by Little Black. The camera shifts to teammate Yellow Hair, who arrives with a crossbow to find Little Black dragging a corpse back in triumph. Seeing Yellow Hair, Little Black relaxes his guard, unaware that the corpse he's dragging is actually Little Black himself. Just now, Little Handsome made a comeback in a desperate situation, now using surprise tactics to confuse the enemy. Since escape is impossible, he decides to take them all down. As they get closer, Yellow Hair senses something is off. The once tall Little Black now seems so small. Just as he reaches for his hammer, Little Handsome strikes first with precision. Now, only one step remains to avenge his father's death. Dealing with Big Beard, Little Handsome uses the same trick, wearing Yellow Hair's clothes to approach Big Beard. But Big Beard, the leader, sees through him from afar. However, all truths are within range, and Little Handsome shoots an arrow directly, hitting Big Beard's thigh. Little Handsome approaches Big Beard, aiming another arrow at him. Big Beard closes his eyes like a statue, silently awaiting his fate. As Little Handsome prepares to shoot, an accident occurs. The bow snaps in two. Big Beard draws a dagger, ready for a final showdown with Little Handsome. But then, the wild dog's barking wakes him up, and Little Handsome dashes away. Big Beard, unable to move quickly, is chased by the dog, with little chance of survival. Seeing his revenge complete, Little Handsome heads home. On the way, he picks up a bullet from the ground and pockets it. Climbing a hill, he finds a wooden cabin. Inside, he sees a corpse on a chair, likely the cabin's owner, who couldn't bear the loneliness of the apocalypse and chose to end it. Little Handsome takes a left-handed pistol from the corpse's hand. Inside the cabin, he finds everything he needs, including guns and bullets, as well as filtered water. Little Handsome drinks his fill and packs a bottle for the road. He enters the kitchen, finding it full of treasures, and quickly packs them up. Suddenly, he hears a noise outside. Cautiously peering out, he sees Big Beard entering. It turns out Big Beard miraculously escaped the wild dog's chase. While unnoticed, Little Handsome grabs a nearby rifle and aims at Big Beard, but the trigger clicks empty. Big Beard charges, and they fight. Despite Big Beard's injuries, the strength difference is clear, and Little Handsome is no match. A few punches later, Big Beard is unfazed, and one punch sends Little Handsome to the ground. Big Beard pins him down, nearly choking him. Seeing his upper attacks are ineffective, Little Handsome grabs Big Beard's injured leg. Big Beard, in pain, releases him. Seizing the chance, Little Handsome pulls the trigger, sending Big Beard to his end. Revenge is finally achieved. Little Handsome has avenged his father. He rushes home without delay. Passing a boy's house, he leaves a few cans behind before continuing. After a long journey, he finally returns home, only to find it in disarray. Just as he fears the worst for his girlfriend, he collapses to the ground, crying. Unexpectedly, his girlfriend emerges from behind. From then on, he and his girlfriend live a happy life.